Hello there, it's Riikka Kovasin here. This time I'm making a mixed media canvas. I'm using a block of wood as my base for this canvas, and I'm first sealing the surface by using a matte gel medium. This is because I'm adding colorants on top and I don't want them to be absorbed into the wood right away, giving me more time to play with the colors and, well, also maybe change my mind. On top, I'm then adding a dimensional layer. I'm using this vintage spoon and a doily as my, focal point or my inspiration for this canvas. So I'm coloring the modeling paste to match the doily a little bit. I'm adding just 2 acrylic colors there and mixing it. But the first go was way too dark compared to the doily. I was thinking that the pigment of the modeling paste would be more intensive, but luckily it's easy to then adjust it by adding a little bit of white acrylic in the mix. The paste is still a little bit too dark, but it's okay for me to use it here. It's not bright white anymore. It's more like this tea colored or vintagey colored paste. I'm then adding an AB Studio stencil on top of the block of wood and using that to add pattern to the background. I then think that the center of the piece looks a little bit too bare and I'm pulling another stencil for that. In the end, you can't really see this layer that much, but I'm going with the flow, letting the project lead me, and at this stage it seemed a little bit too bare. I'm then adding the doily on top using a heavy body gel medium as my adhesive. This is the adhesive I'm using for all the layers coming on top afterwards. I'm not adhering the doily from every thread because I want it to be a little bit fluffy in a way, but still secured enough because it's the base layer. Everything is coming on top, so if this layer is secured poorly, then, all the layers up on it are going to be poorly as well. On top, I then start to build the composition. I'm using the heavy body gel medium, as I said, as my adhesive, and I'm alternating between bought elements and just found or scrap ones. I'm adding the spoon and the kind of heart pendant in a way as my focal point and going around. I'm starting with the flat layers and then going for the height. I'm going with quite fast decisions, just introducing the piece and then securing it. This is my way of working. Quick decisions and get it done. I've sped the process a little bit so you can see how I built the composition, but I've also cut it a little bit so it won't take that much time. After I have the composition done, I'm letting the project air dry for a while so the layers are going to be adhered securely because this helps the second layer. So everything is not flimsy and going around, but they are put so it's easier to add color on top. For the coloring part, I'm first using acrylics, the same colors I used to dye the layer of the modeling paste underneath. So I'm introducing the colors mainly to the white elements, turning them into this vintage palette, but also adding some touches to the metal embellishments as well. After the acrylics are dried, I'm then adding another color layer, this time using Paper Arts Infusions dye crystals and just water. I'm using 2 colors. The other one is just brown colors and the other one has also some green on top. I thought that it would fit the springtime well with a little bit of green. But as these dye crystals have walnut stain in those, so the more water you add, the more the walnut is activated. So there's just a hint of green, and I want a little bit more. So instead of adding more crystals, because probably with the amount of water I have on top, they will turn brown as well, I'm then adding some touches using a liquid acrylic paint in a color of avocado. So it's this kind of a brown toned green. I'm then letting the project air dry because there's so much color on top. When the project has dried, I'm then dry brushing some light colors on top using again the same colors I already have going, but this time just touching the tops of the dimensional composition. I'm also adding a little bit of delicate or fluffiness to the layers on top by using a little bit of thread there. I then added some white splashes to add a little bit more light to the project. Then repeat the pearls I already had, one stuck in the ladle of the spoon, and then added a couple of more. I'm then mixing a green paint to go around the canvas or the wood block. I'm choosing this green paint, but it's too vibrant, so I'm using the brown crystals to turn it more into this kind of avocado or mossy looking color. Then I thought the project was done, but when I looked at it, the heart was a little bit too prominent. It needed something on top, and I tried different things, and the one that seemed to fit the bill best was this broken gear. I colored it using the same colors I already have in the canvas and then stuck it down with just some glue. And after that, the project is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing. You know that there's a new video each Friday on my YouTube channel. Thanks again. Bye!